Yes, hello, hi everyone. I think everyone is able to see me. Yes. So, thank you for responding. My name is Vishal. I must start from my introduction. I secured rank 63 in UPSC Civil Services 2018. After that, I was allocated Indian Administrative Services batch of 2019. Currently, I am undergoing training and I am posted as assistant collector. This session which I am doing, I just wanted to do this brief session about how to write mains answer for general studies. This has been one of my core, what you call, not only my expertise as well as one of my core interest, because always I felt that what you call answer writing. If two things that one has to what you call take care about. The first one is what you call the if two things if one has to take care about. The first one is what you call finding out answer, the MCQs, that takes care of the prelims. And second thing is the mains, what you call writing. And writing a skill, especially the comprehension, really what you call brings you what you call to a really what you call securing rank category if you are doing your mains very well. And nowadays scores in GS usually goes till 450. Also, like topper score would range around that. So I would suggest what you call a serious focus to what you call GS would really what you call up your chances in securing a good rank in this civil services. In this regard, I also wanted to tell you that you don't have to do what you call some sort of separate what you call study for mains and prelims, because like I will just give you an example. For example, suppose you want to know what you call, you are just going through with this what you call question. Okay, you are just thinking, okay, what you call so you are going through a topic. The topic is, let's say, what you call Indian Ocean. So any question in Indian Ocean, for example, what you call let's suppose what you call what you call you are doing some sort of what you call this you are studying. Okay, in this I would say that what you call Indian Ocean to will make you really what you call well versed with how a question is going to be asked from what you call any what you call what you call what you call topic that you are going to read. So let's start with today's main focus. I'm really what I really like to talk in depth. Hi, forgive me again, like we just got disconnected. What I was saying is that what you call the nowadays what you call it has UPSC has become very specific regarding the word limit, and it has cost people what you call state place in the rank list. And you could just imagine how much what you call worrisome it would be if you are what you call just out of the rank list only because your marks were deducted because of writing too much. My take is that usually you won't be ending up writing too much. It would be only the case when what you call it would be only the case when what you call usually it would be the case when you are actually leaving out few question and you are focusing on few questions too much. Then only such question can arise. What you call, let's start with the first question. So first is that UPSC often gives many directives in question, and each question demands a precise answer. Okay, so many of the time you would whenever you go through the previous year question, or if you're writing a test series, you would come across various directives. The direction word, you'd be asked whether you have to you would be asked to examine, you'd be asked to comment, analyze, critically analyze, so on and so forth. And it actually would what you call, if for now, let's say, if I start telling you exactly the meaning of all this, you'd feel like it is not making too much of sense. Why? Because in some sort of what you call, in some sort of, I must say, what you call they do are similar. If you go by definition, what you call, many word would come some sort of synonym of the other word that is mentioned. But the difference actually comes when you are going through the question itself. You know what you call, when you would be reading the entire question, then you would be able to make a call what exactly is the demand of the question. So as it is written beautifully, the direction, the directive word really plays an important role in, you know, what you call, organizing your answer. You know what exactly would be you know what you call, what would be there in your body, that would be really determined by, you know, for example, like, you know, usually answer structure consists of introduction, body and conclusion. The body part and conclusion part would really be driven by the directive that is given. I will just give you an example. Okay, so let's say you have been asked what you call, discuss the Indian national movement. If this is the question, then if you are asked, if you, then you would narrate the Indian national movement, and then you might add some comment or you might just leave it. You know, discuss not necessarily require you, you know what to call, some opinion from yourself, your end. But on the other hand, if you are specifically asked, if you are specifically asked that, you know what you call, you have to comment on the Indian national movement from 1917 to 1935. If that is the case, then you could just understand, you know, from the tone itself, not only the tone, from the very, you know what you call, directive itself, that, you know, it is not asking you to narrate some sort of facts or what exactly happened, or, you know what you call, repeat, you know what you call, the chronology of events that has, you know what you call, occurred between 1917 to 1995. Here the comment term itself is asking you to, you know what you call, say something from your own end. You know what you call, you have to form an opinion, your analysis, you know, your analysis of what exactly has happened. You know what you call, you might say ki, okay, that time, you know what you call, um, it was a period of lull, you know what you call, activity was less, something on that sort. You know, whatever actually has happened, rather than narration of the event, you now focus on what those event actually meant. You know what you call, how did it impact it, you know what you call, some sort of a analysis from your end, and not rather, you know, just a narration of what exactly has happened. And you know what you call, wherever the term critically has come, so I just made it as a thumb rule that, you know, if the term critically is used, then, you know what you call, I would focus more on the negative end. Like for example, if the very question is asked in sort of critically comment on the Indian national movement from 1917 to 1935, then I would more focus on, you know what you call, checking in, you know what you call, telling exactly what exactly happened in that, you know what you call, what exactly is going on, you know what you call, so you would just, you know what you call, rather better understand, you know what you call, whenever I say that, you know, that if you have to write critically comment, then you know, you have to write the negative part more. In fact, you know, in even in conclusion, conclusion I would always say should be a, you know what you call, a balanced sort of, for example, in discuss, it could be just a simple summary. uh, so you know what you call, for, you know what you call, discuss, you could just keep, you know what you call, some sort of summary, you know what you call, telling what exactly the facts are. You know what you call, that summary would be very much, you know what you call, in the conclusion, it would be good conclusion for, you know what you call, discuss. But at the same time, if you are being asked critically examine, then you would give that, okay, so the problems were there, but it did got, you know what you call, better in the latter half by the following leader. So in some sort of positivity would be brought in the, you know what you call, since you have critically examined, so you would go for some sort of positivity, you know what you call, at the end. So of course, you know what you call, three things which I always take care, you know what you call, whenever, you know what you call, the question is asked. The first, you know, as and when you see the question, you know, you should see what is the directive. The directive would really, you know, determine how exactly you are going to maneuver in your answer, what exactly you are going to write more, what you are going to emphasize, what you are not going to emphasize. So would be the thing in when it comes to, you know what you call, the directive. The second thing is, you know what you call, from my end, and that is my personal take, is that, you know, you should actually, you know, you should, you know what you call, understand the weightage of the question. Weightage in the sense, the question could consist of two different parts. For example, critically examine the following thing and propose solution for the same very thing. So for example, you could be asked critically examine, you know what you call, condition of, you know what you call, sewerage system in Indian cities, and then you would be asked to, you know, mention some few solution about it. So in this, if you could see, then of course the critically examined part should be the two-third of your answer, and the offering the solution should be one third. In fact, why does it? Because critically examine itself is two part, right? uh, the negative part of course would be more because it is critically, and of course the what you call the positive part would be less. So in that sort, you could actually understand that what you call how a question has to be divided, that answer space. You should really practice on that UPSC paper that actually you could get in the market anywhere. So when you write a 250 question, 250 words, more about a space also. It's not necessarily should be something that you should count the words. You should also understand how to arrange your answer in that space. That space is given because for all 15 markers there would be equal space. For 10 markers there would be equal space. So you should also visualize your answer. Okay, you should visualize. Okay, so critically examine after introduction. Critically examine would occupy this what you call length of the space, and the remaining length of the space would go in the solution part. So I guess what you call, once you actually visualize how you are going to write an answer, I think it is tremendously going to help you. So as I told you, the first is the directive, the second is of course the weightage, how you are going to organize your answer, and third of course I always call those as brownie points. What I mean by brownie points is that what you call, after doing everything, I would really suggest that what you call, you add something extra. Such addition could be infographics, it could be map, graphs, timeline diagram. For example, if you are asked what you call critically examine what you call the Indian national movement from 1970 to 1935, here, since what you call, more emphasis has to be given on what you call the opinion of yours, the examination or the analysis from your point, I would suggest that you actually summarize the series of event that actually took place from 1917 to 1935 in a timeline diagram. Very simple. It won't consume too much of words. In fact, it would also showcase that you do remember the facts as well. So in that way you could actually showcase. So I would suggest that what you call, that is where you can score some brownie points by adding some diagram. Usually what you call, let's say out of the 10, out of 5 out of 10 people would be just what you call writing in paragraphs or in points, maybe the critical examine part of that 1970 to 1935 part. But if you add that single what you call timeline diagram, not only it would say showcase that you actually know the events very well, it would also what you call, what you call, make your answer very verbose. It would actually what you call, make the answer really nice, complete in itself, in fact I would say. So that should be taken care of. One another point that I this what I call as what you call, mimic the question. Yes, exactly. So for example, if any question is asked, I would always suggest that what you call, have some subheadings, and the subheadings would exactly be what what you call the question has been asked. For example, if the question is critically examine the sewerage system in Indian cities, and then of course offer some solution, then you should clearly write the answer. The body of the answer should be divided into two parts. uh, what the majority of the critical examine, so you should actually write directly critical examination of Indian sewerage system. You should not have any, you should not come up with some innovative what you call, some sort of what you call, you don't have to come up with some innovative sort of what you call, this you know subheading. You could actually just mimic the what you call question that is being asked. It is serving various purposes. First, the first very thing is that it would be what you call very short. You don't have to worry, you don't have to think about, so it won't be time consuming. And yes, of course, I personally believe that what you call, of course what you call, um, so apart from that, of course, apart from that, I also feel that what you call, if you're what you call, mimicking the question directly in your answer, then it actually helps the examiner to maneuver very easily. Like usually an examiner would be having a what you call model answer sheet with him or her, and then what you call, if you have written in that format, if you have organized your answer in that format, then it would be very easy for him. It's not as he doesn't have to search what you call a lot, what you call, how exactly things what you call is being written. It would be just easy for him to take you from the question, and then he would be, those question what you call, would be flashed in the form of subheadings, and that would actually make the task of examiner very easy. So I mean, ultimately that should be your goal as well, my dear friends. You should always aim that, whatever you present, they are really easy, they are really easy to digest, they are very easy to consume, it's not only, is what you call is not only easy for the examiner to read, it's also easy for him to understand that you have answered what is asked. Many a time, what you call you might be asked, for example, this very question, critically examine the Indian national movement from 1917 to 1935. If you actually go ahead and write the, what you call, all the chronology of events, in that you might actually end up, what you call, getting less marks. Or in fact, why? Because the whole directives, as it is mentioned, the whole idea of, what you call, UPSC is to is to judge you on what exactly you do when you are asked something. Okay, so you should not be eating vomiting concept. You might have read a number of times events that have taken place from 1970 to 95, but the question is specifically asking you to critically examine. In that, what you call, in that, what you call, I must say that, what you call, in that, what you call, context, I must say that, what you call, it's what you call, that is where you should apply your mind. That is where you should come up with, what you call, you should actually, you might end up, what you call, writing very less. Let's say you have started critical examination of this, what you call, that Indian national movement, but you are not able to come up with sufficient number of, points. That should not bother you. Like, rather than writing unnecessarily something, what you call, let's say chronology or something, it's not going to give you marks at all. Rather, it is going to consume too much of time in one single question, and then, for you it would be difficult for, moving to some other question as well. So I would suggest that, just answer what is asked. Not, you should not, what you call, maybe mold your answer, mold what you know into the question that is asked. You might write critically examine, and for example, you have might have written that that phase didn't had much strong leader. Then you can rather write that, the individual events that took place were under various leadership. So in that format, you could actually, what you call, use your, what you call, narrative or knowledge of events to expand your, what you call, answer, but that making it more complete. But that doesn't mean that you should miss the entire directive. Directive must not be missed. I think I have made it very clear regarding all this directive that is written: examine, comment, analyze, evaluate. So most of the thing, as I told you, once you, what you call, read the question, as I told you, it will be more, what you call, easier for you to understand what exactly is being asked. In short, discuss means a debate on the question paper, in of the question in the paper itself. You should write both the side. Critically examine, or any word with critically would ask you for, more sort of, what you call, um, more, what you call, negative part. Comment is asking your, what you call, your comment as well as expert comment, if you have already known about. Examine would be like, what exactly happened, why exactly happened, to what extent it was successful, something on that sort. Analyze would also be, a opinion based answer. So in that sort, you would, as I told you, like, if you attempt more and more question, you would be able to understand better how these directives are used in various questions. Okay, so next is develop a mental framework. Okay, yeah, of course, as I told you, one should, what you call, as I told you, the space that is given for a particular question, 15 markers or 10 markers in UPSC GS paper, is usually very much, what you call, sufficient. I must start by saying it is sufficient. At the same time, it is very much, what you call, for all the 15 markers, you will have equal amount of space. So in that sort, I would suggest, a very beautiful answer should actually, what you call, take up the entire space, and it should not even, what you call, exceed the word limit as well. Because if you are writing very close, then you might end up, what you call, exceeding the word limit in that area. Basically, such a, what you call, question, what you call, in GS, the space that is given, that space is sufficient if you write two very good subheading in your body: introduction, body, conclusion. Of course, what you call, body would have two big subheading, and yes, of course, a good diagram. So in that sort, so that space would be sufficient for this three element, and of course introduction, body, conclusion, and three division of body. So in that sort, what you call, you will have sufficient amount of space whenever it comes to what you call this what you call writing your answer. As it is said that you should be able to imagine how you are going to write. Okay, you should think, okay, so introduction is going to if this is the size of the page that you have been given, introduction is going to consume this much, body is going to consume this much, and then conclusion is going to cover the rest of the page. So that sort of mental framework should be ready in your mind. You should be, and I think it will come with practice as soon as and when you read the question. In fact, there is one more moment when you could actually form a mental framework. I remember, when you are given this question paper, then you would be given around 10 minutes to, the question paper would be given to you 10 minutes before, but you can't what you call remove the clip and start writing. So in that time, uh, read all the 15 markers, the bigger question, and then I used to develop a mental framework. In fact, I have actually worked out a very different what you call sequence for that as well. Previously I used to attempt question one after one. Okay, but what I saw is that if I'm going with that sequence, usually I am ending up what you call getting spending too much time on question which I don't know. So one way of making a mental framework is also to just I would suggest what you call go through the what you call paper and find out which of the question you can really write easily. For sequence, what you call sequence, not necessarily what you call not necessarily should be 11 to 20. It could be 11, then 19, then 16, then 17, and then so on and so forth. Okay, so in that format if you write, then you would be able to attempt more and more question in less amount of time. Okay, so coming to the, that was a general paper what you call mental framework. Coming to the paper itself, the specific question itself, as I told you what you call, without wasting your time, you just what you call recollect all the facts and thoughts. In fact, that 10 minutes is very important for doing that. You can come up with what all are the article that can be used in this question that is being asked, or if it is a history question, what all maps you could draw, or what you call for so on and so forth. If it is a geography question, then what all figures and diagram that you could draw. So you could just think about, and very fastly you can jot down with pencil on the question paper itself. One of the question that I am just received from what you call in the comment section, Mr. Vivek is asking, writing in your own word or using bookish language in the answer. Okay, so my personal suggestion in that, the question that would be asked would be really what you call new to you. So what you call is you might end up, at the most of the time, you would be ending up writing your from your own language. And in fact it has proven beneficial in writing your own language, because you'd be writing more fastly, more clearly, and more crisp. Swiftness would be there in your answer writing. In fact, what you call, if you are just what you call, few of the phrases can always be repeated. Of course, if you have read some what you call some sort of quotes, then of course it's always good to produce it exactly in the same form as it is written in the book. But unless and until it is not so, then you can always use your own words and be very comfortable about it. So I think that would answer the what exactly that would actually be answering what you call, what exactly Vikas has asked. Okay, Mr. Yogesh has asked, which type of answer writing need in answer writing from you could go with any answer writing program. In fact, I think Jatin might be taking in JV, would be what you call conducting, having some sort of what you call answer writing program as well. I think you can what you call really go with that. So that would be my suggestion. But yeah, of course, if you would ask me, I would suggest what you call, do attempt more and more full length paper, sit in that 3 hours framework, and then what you call attempt as many as full length paper as you can, so that you are well equipped with the limitation of time, and what you call time, and time, specifically the time that that you have during the actual examination. Okay, so stick to word limit. That this I mentioned already, but I must repeat it again. As I've told you, nowadays UPSC has become very strict with the word limit. Still, I would say this. See, like word limit limitation is usually not what you call skipped. Okay, but many a time people do end up skipping, you know what you call skipping the limit. So in that case now I would suggest, first of all, that you should what few of the things that actually would help you in jotting down many points, as at the same time not as exceeding the word limit, would be writing in points. Okay, bullet points better, because if you're writing the full sentence, many of the extra words you would be using, in fact space as well. And then of course using good timelines and map, in my idea, that also must be taken care of. It should not be some random maps or diagram that you have made, and it is very difficult for the examiner to decipher why exactly you have placed it there. In fact, as I told you, your whole aim, or in this exercise, should be that, okay, it should be very easy for the examiner. The examiner should feel very easy, in understanding, it should be very easy for the examiner for understanding what exactly you have added, that element, especially for the brownie point. So sticking to word limit can be done very easily if you are having very crisp thought. In fact, writing in odd words, you are mimic the earlier thing, you are following the directive, you are mimicking the subheading in the question. And yes, of course, you are using as much possible the help of maps and diagram whenever it is required. So in fact, once you have made a mental framework, it's not like the examiner is going to go by word and word, and it's not just going to deduct for a single a single extra word. It's not going to be so. But still you should actually when you write a 250 words answer, you would see that you are occupying some certain space, you are occupying, when it comes to this you would see that you are occupying a certain space, in that the entire space of answer sheet that has been given. If it is not so, that should give you a mental picture, that should give you an idea, rough idea, that if I'm occupying this much space with my handwriting size, it is going to be more than 250 words. So in that format you should actually have an understanding. You should not do it line by line, counting of words and finding out how exactly and what exactly words you have written. So that should be your entire goal most of the time. So yes, of course, this is written in red, and you must stick to the word limit. Okay, next is universal vocab. Okay, this is I think when you read a lot of you might be, of course, and it is very good, in fact, to read a lot of literature, newspaper, and in fact economic survey, so on and so forth, whatever you could actually read for writing a good answer. In fact, I would say in even our constitution article is also use a lot of jargons. But my idea has always been that in 250 words, if you write as simple as possible, then it would be better. Words which are not that difficult a jargon, because it is a general studies paper, and many a times it does happen that you are from a medical science background, and the question which is asked is from let's say biotechnology. You do have a really good understanding of what exactly is asked. So I would rather suggest you don't mix it up. It's ultimately it's a GS paper, and if you go through the very syllabus of the GS paper, the first and foremost it is written in the top that any graduates should be able to understand. The person who would be checking the paper won't be subject expert. It's a GS paper, so they are not expecting that a bio a bio teacher would be checking your the bio question, and a geography teacher would be checking your geography. So in fact as simple as you are, and that is the difference that will come when it comes, that is the difference that will be seen when you write a a optional paper and a GS paper. So more simplicity should be reflected in your GS paper, and more understanding of the jargon, and very useful very appropriate use of jargons is must be shown when it comes to your optional paper. So I would suggest at any cost you be more specific when it comes to the jargons, and try to what you call use it less and less. Okay. So let's see what you call answer few of the question. Yeah, of course. One, Sai Teja have asked, Mr. Sai Teja have asked that what you call paragraph versus points, which is the best. My understanding has always been in points. In fact, I have totally what you call totally tried to what you call follow the style that was prescribed by, that was popularly used by the topper erstwhile, that is Anudeep sir, Anudeep Puri Sethi sir. His answer paper are also available in the market. So I have used his style a lot. In fact, why is it so? Because you end up writing more, because after a good preparation of GS, or you giving exam multiple times, you would be having a really good knowledge of the subject. Then you should actually writing in points would help you add as many things, as much vertical things that very easily. It will be very vertical good for you. So I would always suggest that yes, of course, go with points, especially in GS. Paragraph you could follow very easily in the optional paper, but in fact in my case I have been always very much my entire what you call aim is to present my answer very well. If it is coming very good in what you call paragraph, then I'm going with paragraph. If it is coming very good in point wise, I'm going with point wise. So I would never say that there is a fixed thumb rule that GS in point wise and optional in paragraph. It is just what you call, you should always think whether I am doing what you call really good justice to this or not. Okay. So I have answered Sai Teja question. Amar Dwivedi has asked what is my optional subject. I think you are not aware, but I am the optional topper of sociology. I secured 329 marks in optional, which is till now the highest. In fact, even this year the highest was not 329. So in short, sociology was my optional subject, Mr. Amar Dwivedi. Mr. Mir Jamir has asked how to start answer writing. In the beginning, answer writing would be very difficult task, so it would require very good patience. In fact, it would require good help also. So you could do it that task in group. You could use online platform. I not sure. I have to ask Jatin whether he is what you call doing some answer writing session or not. The regular one, the daily answer writing, or you could use any daily answer writing UPSC. Just Google it. Daily answer writing. CSE. What you call civil services. What you call portal, and you will find multiple portals which would be offering you feedback as well in answer writing. I remember my time, I started bit late, but initially it was so much difficult for me to even write the first 150 words. But I would say what you call, not only to Mir Jamir, to every aspirant that is listening, who is listening to this, what you call that, have faith, keep pushing yourself at any cost, and very soon you would be able to compose beautiful writings, beautiful answers in 250 words. But yes, of course, initially for me it was very difficult, because it was some good time that I was just focusing on reading and not writing. That output, that entire thinking and coming with answers was very difficult. So it did took time, but I didn't give up, and because at the end you have to write, right? So I ended up what you call writing good answers. Next question is from Mohit Alam. He is asking how to prepare graphs and diagrams for answer. Any source? Yeah, of course. What you call, when it comes to source, I think you would again thanks to the sort of coaching industries and what you call portals that have come up around this. You would find a specific compilation of all the graphs in a single place as and when mains arrive. So you don't have to worry or fret too much. If you go outside the market, or if you search online, you'll get a sufficient sort of what you call collection of this diagram. In fact, you can and as and when you practice very well, you would be able to develop your own graphs and diagrams also. Timeline especially is very easy to come up with. Other source that you could actually use, you could what you call, I used to do that. I used to follow social media of Twitter account of MyGov, or Twitter account of what you call this all this account Twitter. Twitter in social media, usually social media accounts of all the what you call government, is head of the government, and usually they come up with very interactive, what you call an illustrative, what you call this infographics, and it is really helpful. So I usually what you call used to follow them on social media, and that used to be a good source of what you call this what you call graphs and everything, diagrams. Okay. mm, yeah, sir, when should I attempt? See, as told you, I am answering the question of Kusagr Malik. He is giving his first attempt in 2023. That's nice. Mr. Kusagr, I must say that, what you call, it has always been helpful if you start early, because answer writing is something that requires practice. But you should not start too early, because, you might not have even content, to write the entire 250 words. So that should not be a good beginning. If you are finishing some of the modules, then go with a specific what you call syllabus, what you call what you call topic based question, and do not attempt the entire full length paper. So but as I said, whenever you feel you are ready, you should go ahead and in fact, initially when you are not able to write the entire answer, you could even refer to the answer which is already written, or it's been discussed in the portal, so that you are able to complete your answer. My take would be that sufficiently prepared whenever you are with one single topic, you can go ahead with the answer writing on that very topic. Okay, so how to frame a very good answer, right? So in this I will be talking about three things, right? So any question, as I told you, first is the as I told you, three things. The initial, I will just what you call revise what exactly I talked. The first thing is that what you call which I talked was that what you call that you should very much take care of the direction that has been given, the directive word that has been given. The second thing is that yes, of course, the what you call the space that you are giving to give the individual question, individual part of the answer, the weightage of each part, and yes, of course, mimicking the very question, and then yes, of course, adding the brownie points, adding the graphs and everything for brownie points. So in this, what you call writing the answer in a very structured manner, it would be what you call introduction, body, and conclusion. So when it comes to introduction, body, and conclusion, I would say that what you call introduction, I used to just have a formula, my dear. Okay, I just used to have a formula, because you can't just what you call have you can't, I mean, it is usually expected for you to write very nice introduction, catchy or something, but I actually just end up following a formula. Why? Because if I'm not following a single formula, it was very difficult for me to what you call come up. So usually I would introduce using what you call any current events. If the question is based on current events, I would just repeat any current events based on which the question is being asked, or definition based. If there is a definition, then definition plus example I would add in that introduction, or I can go with a quotes or something. Quotes usually used to what you call come up with very less number of question in which I used to use quotes, because it's very difficult, but still quotes based introduction I used to try. So in that what you call hardly 10%, as it is said, let's say it would be 50-60 words introduction. It should not be too big, because introduction is not going to give you marks, it is going to be one marker. The rest of the thing is going to matter more. So it should be very much precise, very much close to what exactly what you call very much what you call very much close and very much precise to what is just asked, so that the examiner understand that you actually just mean business. You're not going to what you call just what you call do a what you call a ringa what you call, you're not just going to move around the topic, you're just going to hit the bullseye. So that intention should be very much clear from the introduction itself. Body, yes, of course, body, as I said, body should be able to mimic the what you call the question. The question would have various parts, the body should have those parts as subheading. It should be easily what you call clearly underlined, so that the person doesn't have to search for that. Okay, you have attempted all the question, and you have attempted based on the weightage that I was expecting to give in the as it was demanded in the question. So weightage wise and paragraph what you call part wise, it should be well and distinguished. And then going with point and paragraph, as I already have answered the question of one of the aspirant who has asked in the comment section. Paragraph and bullet, what you call it should not be something that should be really hard and fast rule. Whatever you feel appropriate would really come out at that time. For example, if it is something that is asking what you call some sort of what you call discussion, or some sort of explaining your thoughts, I don't think points wise would make it very clear. On the other hand, it's something that is what you call being analyzed, and of course point out would work really well, and a few of the other things. For example, is a social, if it is a social issue, I would always add a technological solution. So I'm just giving some thought, sort of what you call some brief idea, some sort of you would see that that the government is obsessing too much of on coming up with application, coming with technology solution to all the social issues, especially the social issues. Then as a bureau, they would expect the upcoming bureaucrats, they should be able to offer some technological solution to most of the of course issues or social issues that is discussed. So in that sort, you would just get a vibe. Very soon as you write more and more, you will start getting that vibe. Okay, this would if I add this point, it would be better. And as I said, if your what you call body is divided into two or three parts, with each then I think the examination paper, the space that is given for one question, it is sufficient for you to add a diagram as well. If you are able to add any diagram, map or timeline, I think it would be really nice. It is certainly going to add to your points, but as I say, it should be according to the directives. You should not end up adding too much into what it is not asked, because it would just be what you call leading to what you call nothing, like you won't be getting too much. In fact, you if you are exceeding the word limit, as I already told you, you will be penalized for that as well. Conclusion, yes, of course. So people would be of course there and the conclusion should be balanced. What you call, of course, a positive impact, positive effect is rated. Why? Because what you call that last line that is she is going to read, it is going to just the next step would be his mind would already make up with some what make up he would just make up his mind with one what you call mark that is going to award you out of that total full mark. So given all those things, I think you should be writing a bit of a positive note, because ending on a positive note would always be a good thing. Conclusion would also vary. For example, as I told you, for discuss, it would be good to summarize your thing. For critically analyze, you could give some sort of solution, way forward or something. So article in that short, conclusion could be summary, a mix of summary, a mix of what you call positive, way forward, so on and so forth. An optimist, as it is written, an optimistic bent of mind, what you call a desire to pursue solution. In that way, if you are able to project yourself, then conclusion is very easy. I would say don't fret too much. If you are not able to what you call come up with a very good conclusion, then you should just what you call summarize what you have written. One thing that I used to do, and I used to use it as a instrument, I used to think about introduction and conclusion at the same time, during writing, and it will come with good practice. So why I used to do this is that, because if you are thinking about introduction and conclusion at the same time, it would be better, because you will find a connect. Okay, if you're introducing using a quote and you don't find much of its mention in the conclusion, then the examiner would be like, okay, what this guy has written in the introduction, let me check it again. That disconnect would be there, and a very small space, if you are not able to make a connection, I think it would not reflect really good on your composition skills. So I would rather suggest that you should actually be you should be able to show some connect, and that could be seen if you that could be shown if you are what you call very well you are adjusting what you call introduction with the conclusion. And in fact, it is very easier also if you what you call do the introduction conclusion very at the same time, because after writing a body, it's after writing the entire stuff in the body, you would be in lost of things to write in the conclusion. And if you are thinking introduction and conclusion at the same time, I think you would be always in better position, because the last line you don't have to just think. The last paragraph, that is the concluding paragraph, you don't have to think. You have already thought about it prior to writing the entire answer. So that would be one of the takeaway, that what you call uh, and what you call, that would be my takeaway of writing introduction and conclusion at the same time. With this, what you call, to frame a good answer, I have talked about all the aspect at which I wanted to cover. In fact, this PPT could be reused, and in fact, whoever is what you call, can all those who are viewing, and they can print out this PPT. Whatever I have said and discussed can be added, and they could be having a very good resources as a benchmark for writing a good answer whenever they are going to do so. My what you call, few of the things that I want to take from my personal experience is that I've given mains twice. Both of the time I got into service. The thing is that mains itself is a struggle in the sort of I would say, because what you call, you have to write too much. It's literally too much. That 20 answer in 3 hours, it is going to be struggle, because you have to write too many answer. What you call, to I would suggest you have should finish each, how you would be attempting, to also be very much clear. And practice, practice and practice. Once you are very good with composing individual answers, I would say go for full length paper. In fact, a good test is always a full length paper. Try to write as many full length paper as what you call as possible, and what you call, slowly what you call, you will be writing very good answer. And I think writing is something that always becomes better every time you practice. So you just practice a lot, get it evaluated from the portal that you have joined, get it evaluated from your peers. In fact, not only others, you should also start from yourself. You should think and you should reflect on what you have written, and what you call, you should always try to write better from the last answer that you have written. One more thing that I want to mention is that on the handwriting front, I'm not stressing that you should have a very wonderful handwriting, but it should be legible. By legible means it should not be what you call, difficult for a person for what you call, even read what exactly you have written. So, and legibility is not something that is difficult. You can always have what you call, your what you call, mostly what you call, what you call, that what you call, you should practice what you call in that full length paper, so that it's far better. Okay, so I would just start writing what you call, answering few of the question as an ending note. The question is asked, what you call, answer writing after prelims. Yeah, of course, I won't say exactly as I told you. Answer writing after prelims, of course, it will give you a better edge. You will be more what you call, energized and more enthusiastic to write answer. But it is always good to start early, because then that inertia or all those what was shyness, that thing won't be there. What you call. So you would be already accustomed to writing 250 words. So I think it's always better to start as early as possible. Then सर मुझे प्रियंका हैज़ आस्क्ड, सर मुझे आंसर में जो पूछा गया है डायरेक्ट उसी का आंसर लिखना चाहिए या इंट्रोडक्शन कंक्लूजन सब लिखना होता है? हाँ, एग्जैक्टली. सो आई वुड से प्रियंका, आप सिर्फ वही लिखें जो आपको पूछा गया है. ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है. एक, आप वर्ड लिमिट नहीं एक्सीड करेंगी. दूसरा, आप फालतू चीज़ लिख करके आप वो आप इस तरीके का इमेज आपको नहीं दे कन्वे करना है आपके एग्जामिनर को कि आपको कुछ. आई हैव अपलोडेड, नॉट थिंक आई हैव, in fact uploaded 2-3 of my answer, which you could just what you call, use it as a reference to write a good answer. Then Kushagra, compulsory language paper. For compulsory language paper, Mr. Kushagra, you could just what you call, search. I have actually done how to prepare what you call, Hindi. English I didn't do it because English I was comfortable with, but yeah, for Hindi I have done. So you can find that in YouTube. Should I practice test series? See, I always would suggest get it evaluated. If you are getting it evaluated from your friends and you are satisfied with it, no issues. And if you are getting it evaluated from your faculty, it's also good. But I always say that full length paper you have to write. It could be the test series or yourself, that is your call. Also possible to get your sociology note. Sociology notes, my dear Mohit, I have already it is there in my Telegram channel. In fact, it is Sociology by Vishal. You can find that in Telegram channel, and my notes would also be there in my what you call, WordPress website also. Vishal Sah IAS. If you just write Vishal Sah IAS dot WordPress, you would be able to find it. Okay, which type of pen should be used. Okay, that's very, what you call. But yeah, of course, I am not able to remember which pen, but yeah, of course. Usually you have to, what you call, juggle between few pen, and come up with one pen which is going to, be very smooth, very, even when you write fast, and it should be dark. Of course, it should not. So I think I went with gel pen, if I'm not wrong. Gel pen will give you that control over writing, and it will come, it would be really, the you know so that would be good. With that, I would like to end the session. Thank you so much for joining me. The chilly winter night has started, so I would suggest take care. In January, the mains is there. I guess you guys would do very well. All the best from my end, and if there's anything, you can, what you call, reach out to JV